So, yeah, the title sounds insane, but buckle up because it's even worse than you think. I, 27F, recently found out my mom stole half of my inheritance to buy my younger brother Kyle, 22M, a brand new car. Like, not even a used Honda or something sensible. No, we're talking shiny, fully loaded, smells like leather, fresh off the lot car. And before anyone jumps in with, maybe it was an emergency, maybe Kyle needed it for school or work, no, my brother didn't need it. He just wanted it. He had a perfectly fine car already, one that Dad had helped him buy a couple years ago. But apparently, Kyle deserved something nicer. Here's the setup. My dad passed away suddenly 5 years ago. Heart attack, no warning. He was only in his 50s, still working, still planning trips with us. One day he was there, the next he was gone. It broke me. It broke all of us. But Dad had been smart with money. He'd set up a trust that split his savings evenly between me and Kyle. The rule was simple. We couldn't touch the money until we turned 25. Until then, Mom was the trustee, the person responsible for managing it. At the time, I didn't even question it. She's our mom. She loved us. Of course she'd do right by us. Oh, sweet naive me. Looking back, the signs were always there. Mom has always had, let's call it creative money habits. She'd splurge on random things like limited edition kitchenware while the fridge was empty. She'd max out credit cards and then cry that she needed retail therapy. And when it came to Kyle? Forget it. He's the golden child. The sun rises and sets with him. When he got a B in high school, she baked him a cake for trying his best. When I got straight A's, she shrugged and said, well, of course you did. You're the smart one, I brushed it off as favoritism. The kind every family has. But it was more than that. Kyle could literally do no wrong, and I was just the other kid. What hurts the most is remembering Dad's will. He had actually said in writing, this money is for both of my kids, to give them a stable start in life. Split evenly. Not split however their mom feels like that day. Not give it all to Kyle because he wants a cooler car. I can still hear him telling me, right before he died, I know your mom isn't the best with money, but don't worry. This trust will protect you both. Well, Dad, turns out not even a trust could protect me from my own mother. Fast forward to my 25th birthday. That's when I was supposed to finally get access to my share. I remember being so nervous. I'd planned everything. Pay off my student loans, finally move out of my tiny apartment, maybe even start saving for a house. It felt like the first step toward building the stable life Dad wanted for me. But when I checked my account, the money wasn't there. Half of it was missing. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Like maybe the bank transferred it wrong, or maybe Mom forgot to sign some paperwork. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. So I asked her. She looked me dead in the eye and said, oh, that. I used part of your inheritance for Kyle. He needed a reliable car, honey. He's starting his adult life. You'll understand one day when you're a mother, excuse me? Not only did she admit it like it was no big deal, but she tried to guilt trip me for being upset. Like I was supposed to clap and say, yay, so happy for my brother's leather seats. I just sat there, stunned. Half of my future was gone, and she was smiling about it. That's when I realized this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't bad math or paperwork. This was betrayal. And it was only the beginning. So after my mom dropped that bomb on me, I used part of your inheritance for Kyle's car. You'll understand one day. I thought maybe I'd misheard her. Like maybe my brain had glitched. Because who just admits to stealing their kid's inheritance like it's pocket change? Nope. I heard her right. She even doubled down. She started going on about how Kyle needed something safe and reliable, and how Dad would have wanted him to be set up. Excuse me? Dad wrote even split in black and white. There was no Kyle gets a Tesla and I get crumbs clause. And if that wasn't insulting enough, the very next day Kyle showed up at the house with the car. Bright red, shiny rims, leather seats, Bluetooth everything. The kind of car that makes people stare when you pull into the parking lot. He was grinning ear to ear, revving the engine like a 12-year-old who just discovered what sports mode is. Pretty sweet, huh? He said. Mom hooked me up. Mom hooked you up. Yeah, with my money. The kicker? He knew. He knew exactly where the money came from because Mom told him. And he wasn't even embarrassed. He just shrugged and said, well, you don't drive much anyway. It made sense, I swear. I almost blacked out from rage. I tried talking to other family members, hoping maybe someone would back me up. Big mistake. My aunt literally said, well, Kyle is younger. He needs more support starting out. My grandma chimed in with, your mother knows best. Be grateful you got anything at all. And my cousin? She had the audacity to say, at least your mom didn't gamble it away. It went to family. What's the big deal? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the big deal is that it was my money and I didn't agree to it? It was like I was the crazy one for expecting fairness. Like everyone just accepted that Kyle was the golden child, and I should smile politely while he cruised around in my future down payment. That's when I decided to stop asking for validation and start collecting receipts. I pulled out Dad's trust documents, clear as day. To be divided equally between my children upon each reaching the age of 25. No wiggle room, no use at your discretion, no Mom gets to play God. Then I went to the bank, asked for transaction history, and sure enough, there it was. A withdrawal from the trust account. Transferred to mom's checking, then a cashier's check made out to the dealership. Case closed. I wasn't imagining things. She really did steal from me. I confronted her again, this time with paperwork in hand. She didn't even deny it. She just sighed, all dramatic, and said, "You're making such a big deal out of nothing. It's just money. Kyle needed help. He'll recover. You're stronger than him, I couldn't believe it." She turned theft into a compliment. Like I was supposed to thank her for robbing me because she saw me as independent. And then she hit me with the classic mom guilt trip. "After everything I've sacrificed for you, you're really going to hold this over me? Do you know how much stress I'm under? Do you think I wanted to be a widow managing all this? Oh, here we go. The widow card. Yes, Mom. Losing Dad was hell. But you don't get to weaponize that against me while you funnel my future into Kyle's leather seats." I walked out of that conversation shaking, angry, hurt, betrayed. Pick an emotion, I was feeling it. But underneath all of it was this cold clarity. My mom didn't see me as her daughter in that moment. She saw me as a resource. An ATM she could raid whenever Kyle wanted something. And I realized, if she did it once, she'd do it again. So I decided then and there, I wasn't just going to let this go. If Mom wanted to turn this into a war, fine. I'd come armed with receipts. After that second confrontation, I realized I was never going to get anywhere just arguing with her. Every time I said, "You stole from me," she twisted it into, "You're selfish," or "Kyle needed me more." So fine. If words didn't work, I'd let the numbers do the talking. I turned into a one-woman investigation team. I printed the trust documents, highlighted the relevant sections, and made copies. I pulled every bank statement tied to the trust account and started building a timeline. Transfer dates, amounts, destinations, everything. My desktop started looking like a crime board, minus the red string. It didn't take long to find the smoking gun. The trust account had a withdrawal for nearly the exact price of Kyle's car, down to the penny once you factored in fees. That money went straight into Mom's checking, then to the dealership. I even found the cashier's check stub. It was like she didn't even try to hide it. And you know what she wrote in the memo line? For Kyle's future. Not loan, not temporary transfer, just a full-on confession in her own handwriting. I decided to contact the lawyer who had helped Dad set up the trust, just to see if I was overreacting. The guy was polite but blunt. "Your mother, as trustee, has a fiduciary duty to both beneficiaries. That means she's legally obligated to treat you and your brother equally. Taking from your share to benefit him without your consent? That could absolutely be considered a breach of trust. Could absolutely be." Those words hit me like an electric shock. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dramatic. I was right. The lawyer told me I could request a formal accounting, basically force her to open the books and justify every penny. If she refused, or if the records proved mismanagement, I could petition the court to remove her as trustee. And if she couldn't pay me back? They could even reduce Kyle's share to make it equal. Hearing that made my blood sing. For the first time, I felt like maybe I had some power in this mess. Meanwhile, Kyle was out here living his best life, posting pictures of the car on Instagram, flexing like he bought it himself. One of the captions literally said, "Earned, not given." I nearly threw my phone across the room. I confronted him about it, and he just shrugged. "You're being petty. It's just money. Mom said you're fine without it." "Oh, I'm fine?" I asked. "Tell me how my student loans think I'm fine. Tell me how my rent thinks I'm fine. Tell me how my future down payment thinks I'm fine." He laughed. "You're so dramatic. You sound like Mom." That's when I realized he wasn't just complicit. He was comfortable. He liked being the golden child. And why wouldn't he? Everything was handed to him. Word got around that I'd talked to a lawyer, and suddenly my phone was blowing up. My aunt. "Honey, don't air dirty laundry. Keep this in the family." My cousin. "Kyle's so young, let him enjoy things." "You're older, you can wait." Even my grandma. "You should be grateful you have anything at all. Some people get nothing." I wanted to scream. Gratitude doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. But the real dagger? Mom texted me late one night. "You're breaking this family apart. I hope you're happy." Like it was my fault for not clapping while she raided my account. That was it. I stopped trying to win anyone's sympathy. I stopped explaining. I gathered my files. I wrote down every interaction. I saved every text. And I made a decision. If Mom wanted to treat me like the outsider, I'd show her what happens when the outsider fights back. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about respect. About not being the family doormat one more second. At this point, I was done arguing at family dinners. I was done being gaslit, guilt-tripped, and told to be grateful. I had the documents, I had the lawyer, and now I had a plan. My attorney drafted an official letter, a demand for a full accounting of the trust, a timeline of the withdrawals, a request that my share be restored immediately, either from Mom's assets or deducted from Kyle's portion, and a very polite note that said if she didn't comply, we'd be seeing her in court. We sent it certified mail, return receipt requested. No way she could claim she never got it. Guess what she did? Ignored it. She texted me, though. Oh, she had plenty to say in texts. Stuff like, "How could you betray your own family like this? Are you happy making me the villain? I sacrificed everything for you and this is how you repay me?" Not once did she address the actual issue. The money. Not once. It was all guilt and theatrics. My lawyer told me that silence actually worked in our favor. Judges love paper trails, and hers was looking pretty bad. The rest of the family caught wind of the letter, and suddenly I was public enemy number one. My aunt called me screaming, "You can't take your own mother to court. What's wrong with you?" My cousin DM'd me on Facebook. "You're disgusting. She raised you. Pay her back for her love." My grandma left me a voicemail that just said, "I hope you can live with yourself." Meanwhile, Kyle was out here posting selfies in the car with captions like, "Haters gonna hate, winner's gonna win." Yeah, real subtle. Mom invited me to talk things over. "Neutral ground," she said. So we met at a diner. She ordered pie she didn't touch, and I sat there with my lawyer's folder on the seat next to me. "Sweetheart," she started, voice trembling. "This is tearing me apart." I did what I had to do. Kyle needed a chance, I cut her off. "You broke the trust. Dad's trust. You're legally required to treat us equally. You didn't. You stole from me." Her eyes welled up. She whispered, "Do you really want to humiliate me like this?" And for the first time, I didn't cave. "You humiliated yourself the second you signed that check." She slammed her fork down so hard the waitress jumped. "You're cruel." I didn't even raise my voice. I just said, "Then I guess we'll let a judge decide who's cruel." The next day, Kyle called me. For once, he didn't sound smug. He sounded nervous. "Do you really think Mom could lose the trustee thing? Like, legally?" "Yep." "And they could take it out of my share?" "Yep." Silence. Then, "That's not fair." I laughed. "Fair? You've been driving around in my money for weeks. Welcome to my world." He hung up on me. When the 30-day deadline passed with no accounting, my lawyer filed the petition. Breach of fiduciary duty. Demand for surcharge, repayment. Request for Mom's removal as trustee. And let me tell you, nothing feels weirder than signing your own name on a lawsuit against your mother. I sat there in the lawyer's office with my hand shaking, wondering if I was about to burn every bridge in my family. But then I thought about Dad, about what he wrote in his will, about how he wanted us both taken care of. And I realized the bridges were already burning. I was just choosing not to be the one standing on them when they collapsed. Filing the petition was one thing. Actually showing up in court? Whole different beast. I walked into that bland beige courtroom with my lawyer by my side, clutching a binder full of receipts like it was my emotional support animal. Across the aisle sat my mom and Kyle. Mom looked like she'd aged 10 years in a month. Hair frazzled, eyes puffy, clutching her purse like it contained her last shred of dignity. "Kyle?" He looked pissed, probably because his shiny new toy was about to get dragged into evidence. The judge asked my lawyer to present first. She laid it out clean and sharp. Trust documents promising an equal split. Bank transfers showing money funneled to Mom's account. A cashier's check to the dealership. Memo line for Kyle's future. Then she dropped the kicker. My client's inheritance was cut in half without her consent, in direct violation of the trust. This is a breach of fiduciary duty. Mom's lawyer, yes, she actually hired one, stood up and tried to spin it. This was not theft, Your Honor. It was a temporary reallocation. Mrs. Mom's last name acted in the best interest of her children, ensuring her son could begin his adult life on the right foot. The judge raised an eyebrow. At the expense of her daughter's legally designated share? Silence. Mom stared at her lap. Kyle chewed his lip. Then came the cross-examination. My lawyer asked Mom point blank, "Did you or did you not authorize a payment from the trust to purchase your son a car?" Mom stammered. I was just trying to help. Yes or no?" Her voice cracked. "Yes." "And did you consult your daughter before reducing her share?" "No." The judge scribbled something down. My stomach did a little victory flip, but Mom wasn't done. She suddenly burst out, "She doesn't need it as much. She's always been stronger, smarter, more capable. Kyle needed this. If you had children, you'd understand. Sometimes you give more to the one who needs it." The courtroom went dead silent. Even Kyle looked mortified. The judge leaned back, unimpressed. "Mrs. Last name. Fiduciary duty is not about who you feel needs more. It's about following the trust instructions. And you did not boom." Then my lawyer slid a photo across to the judge. A screenshot of Kyle's Instagram post. Him posing on the hood of the car, captioned, "Earned, not given." The judge actually chuckled. Interesting choice of words. Kyle turned beet red. "That's just social media. It doesn't mean anything, but it did. It showed intent. It showed awareness. It showed he wasn't some innocent kid caught in the middle. He knew, and he flexed anyway. By the end of the hearing, the outcome was clear. Mom was removed as trustee. A neutral third-party trustee was appointed. Mom was ordered to repay what she could from her personal assets. The remaining amount would be deducted from Kyle's share when he turned 25. The judge even tacked on attorney's fees, which meant Mom was on the hook for my legal costs, too. When the gavel hit, I felt like I could finally breathe again. Walking out of that courtroom was surreal. Mom wouldn't look at me. Kyle muttered, "Hope you're happy," under his breath. And you know what? I was. Because for once, the truth actually mattered. For once, being the strong one didn't mean being the doormat. After court, things in my family were never the same. Honestly, I don't think they'll ever be. Mom went full silent treatment mode. For weeks, she didn't call, didn't text, didn't even try to play the poor me card. I think losing in front of a judge broke something in her. Not because she regretted what she did, but because she finally realized she couldn't spin her way out of it. Kyle? Oh, he was furious. Not at Mom for dragging him into the mess. Not at himself for flaunting the car online. No, he was furious at me. He said I ruined the family and made things harder than they had to be. He even accused me of being jealous. Jealous. Of leather seats bought with my own money. The new trustee took over, and suddenly everything was transparent. I got exact balances, monthly updates, even projections. No games, no mystery withdrawals. Just what Dad intended all along. Fairness. Meanwhile, Mom had to start paying me back in installments. It wasn't much, and it'll take years, but every check she writes is a reminder that she couldn't just play favorites and get away with it. And Kyle? He still has the car, but the debt hanging over his share means he'll eventually pay for it, one way or another. The golden child finally has a tab. Family gatherings are awkward now. Some relatives still whisper that I took my own mom to court. Others quietly pull me aside and say, "Good for you." Someone had to stand up to her. The truth is, this wasn't just about money. It was about patterns, about years of being treated like the backup kid while Kyle got celebrated for breathing. The inheritance was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I used part of my restored share to pay off debt and start saving for a house. Exactly what Dad wanted. Stability, security, a foundation for the future. And every time I log into that account, I think of him. I think of how hard he worked to leave something for us. And I remind myself, honoring him means not letting anyone twist his last gift into a weapon. Do I miss having a normal relationship with my mom? Of course. But here's the thing. I didn't destroy that relationship. She did. The second she decided one child's wants mattered more than the other child's rights. I've stopped chasing her approval. I've stopped trying to be the strong one who carries the guilt so everyone else can feel comfortable. Because here's what I learned. Sometimes family is just a word people use when they want you to accept being treated unfairly. My mom stole my inheritance to buy my brother a car. But in the end, she lost something way bigger. She lost my trust. And trust is worth more than any amount of money. I honestly thought court would be the end of it. Judge swings the hammer, trustee gets swapped, my balance stops doing disappearing acts. Credits roll. But apparently my family wanted an extended cut with deleted scenes, director's commentary, and a blooper reel of bad decisions. 2 weeks after the ruling, my aunt invited me to a family dinner to clear the air. Translation: ambush with casserole. I brought pie because I'm polite and also because weaponized manners are my kink. The second I walked in, the room went quiet in that way where everyone suddenly becomes very interested in the floor. Mom was at the sink, scrubbing an already clean pan like it had personally wronged her. Kyle was leaning on the counter, scrolling his phone, the keys to my car dangling from his finger like a charm bracelet. We sat. Food got passed. No one ate. Finally, my aunt clasped her hands like a moderator at a town hall. "Sweetie," she began, "your mother is devastated." "We all are. This lawsuit, petition," I corrected. She blinked. "Has caused so much pain. We're family. Can we please figure this out without lawyers?" I set down my fork. "We tried without lawyers. That's how we got here." Cousin Leah jumped in, cheeks flushed. "You've always been the independent one. We thought you'd understand Kyle needed more help." There it was again. Needed more. Needed more birthday parties. Needed more accidental upgrades. Needed more excuses. Flashback montage queued itself up uninvited. Age 9. Kyle shoves me off Dad's bike. I split my knee open. "Mom, he didn't mean it. You're fine." Age 13. Kyle gets a new game console for being brave at the dentist. I get a sweater 2 sizes too big for getting straight A's. Age 17. My senior trip fund accidentally pays for Kyle's travel soccer tournament. I'm told, "You'll have other trips." The present snapped back in with the smell of overcooked green beans. Mom finally spoke, not looking up. "You embarrassed me in court." "You embarrassed yourself in court," I said. I showed receipts. Kyle tossed his phone down. "God, you're insufferable." "It's just money." "Then pay it back," I said. His jaw clicked. "You're unbelievable." Aunt tried again. "Your mother has always done her best." "Her best doesn't include siphoning my inheritance," I said. "Dad wrote an even split. I'm asking for exactly that, nothing extra. If you all want me to pretend it's fine because Kyle is the baby, I'm not doing that anymore." Leah's eyes flicked to Mom, then back to me. Something softened. "We all kind of knew," she said suddenly, voice small, "about the favoritism. It's always been like this." My aunt shot her a warning look. Leah shrugged. "What?" It's true, Kyle barked a laugh. Oh, please. You're acting like I asked for any of this. I raised an eyebrow. You wore earned, not given like a bumper sticker. He colored. That's just Instagram. It's a confession with filters, I said. Mom slammed the pan into the rack. Enough. She turned, eyes glassy. I did what I had to do to keep this family whole. You did what you had to do to keep Kyle happy, I said. Those are not the same thing. Silence pressed on the room like a thumb on a bruise. Then Grandma, who'd been quiet the whole time, cleared her throat. When your grandfather died, she said, voice papery. I split the savings and your uncle took more. We never spoke of it. It rotted us. She looked straight at Mom. You can't keep pretending the rot is perfume. Mom flinched like she'd been slapped. For a second, I saw her not as the villain in my story, but as a woman repeating a pattern she'd learned the hard way. Then she looked right at me and said, You made me look like a thief. I took a breath. You were a thief that day. Kyle pushed back from the table so hard his chair scraped. I'm not listening to this. He grabbed the keys and headed for the door. Mom followed, begging, Kyle, please. The door slammed. The house exhaled. Leah spoke first, softly. I'm sorry. For what? I asked. For not saying anything sooner. For laughing it off when you joked about being the backup kid. We all saw it. We just let it be normal. It was my turn to look at the floor. My throat got tight. Thanks, I said finally. For saying it now. Later, as I was leaving, Grandma pressed a folded index card into my palm. Your grandfather's handwriting, she said. A shopping list on one side, this on the other. I unfolded it in my car. In neat, careful print. Fair is not when everyone smiles. Fair is when no one is cheated. I cried ugly in the driveway until the windows fogged. The fallout didn't stop at dinner. Word traveled. Church friends stopped cornering me to say, be grateful. A neighbor who once told me to be the bigger person stopped me by the mailbox and said, Your mom's been stretching the truth for years. Ma'am, stretching? Like saltwater taffy? Mom tried one more guilt offensive. She showed up at my place with photo albums, the same folder trick as before, flipping to every shot where she'd braided my hair, packed my lunches, tied my skates. I did all this, she whispered. Doesn't that count for anything? I closed the book gently. It counts. It just doesn't cancel theft. She sagged. You're so cold now. I'm warm to people who keep me safe, I said evenly. I'm neutral to people who don't. She left without the albums. I slid them onto my shelf next to Dad's toolbox I can't bring myself to open. Two practical things happened that week that shifted the ground under all the drama. The new trustee emailed a clean ledger. Line by line, month by month, I could see every penny. No mysterious administrative convenience transfers. No midnight withdrawals. Just math that behaved itself. For the first time since Dad died, I felt like a grown adult was in the room. The trustee also flagged the car. Because the down payment came from misallocated trust funds, the vehicle was now tagged in the records as an asset entangled in repayment. Translation. Kyle couldn't sell it without approval, and any outstanding value would be considered when equalizing our shares. The Golden Boy's golden chariot? Officially a calculator. Kyle called me the second he got the same email. What did you do? I didn't do anything, I said. The trustee did their job. This is insane, he snapped. I can't even refinance? Looks like you can. With permission. To be clear, that's what fairness looks like. Not fun, not flashy. Just fair. He went quiet, then tried a new angle. You know Mom isn't sleeping. She says you're killing her. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Tell Mom to try sleeping on a mattress stuffed with trust documents. Maybe the rustling will remind her what the word means. God, you're heartless. No, I said. I'm done being heartbroken. He hung up. I stared at my reflection in the black screen of my phone and didn't recognize the steadiness in my face. It wasn't joy. It was gravity. A week later, Grandma asked me to drive her to the pharmacy. On the way back, she said, casual as weather, Your mother and I had a talk. Oh? She asked if I think you'll ever forgive her. What did you say? I said forgiveness isn't a coupon. You don't clip it and wave it at the register to get full price for half the item. She patted my knee. Let yourself be right for once, dear. You were raised to carry everyone else's wrongs. When I dropped her off, she shuffled to the door, then turned. That boy's car is too shiny, she said. Shiny things blind people. I laughed. He likes it that way. She winked. For now. I drove home past a bus stop where a family was huddled around a stroller, laughing at nothing. Together for no good reason except they wanted to be. I thought about Dad's list. About fairness that doesn't require everyone to smile, just requires no one to be cheated. I pulled into my lot, sat in the quiet, and let the engine tick down like a metronome back to zero. The ground had shifted. The choir had lost a few voices. And in the space where their noise used to be, I could finally hear something else. My own.